Hi neighbor, my name is Juliet DiRienzo, and today is all about Halloween. To get in the spirit, this episode is filled with fun activities to celebrate the fall holiday. We carve a pumpkin, learn how to apply some mermaid makeup, and Professor Jeff Goodman is back to show us a haunting science demonstration. It's going to be a spooktacular time. Carving pumpkins is a classic Halloween tradition, and today I'm going to make my mark by carving my own. Pumpkin carving is a messy business, so I have a tarp and a trash can ready to collect any messy parts. So let me bring out the trash can here. So the first step is tracing what you want to carve out. So I'm going to trace an A for App State. Let's see. Oh gosh. So this might not turn out perfectly, but that's okay. No judgment here. This is going to look rough. Okay. So you can totally make as many marks as you want because the Sharpie is not going to show because you'll cut it out. So it's perfect. Alright, so it can be as rough as you'd like, and I'll show you here in a moment. See, it looks pretty bad, but once we carve it out, you won't even be able to tell. So next, I am going to cut open the top. So my crew gave me a couple knives here, but I'm going to go with the smaller one for safety. And you want to cut in at an angle so it's easy for the top to come on and off. Okay, maybe I should try a different knife. The smaller one. Let's see if this one works better. Oh yeah, that's much better. Let's see. Take this down for a moment. So you just cut in a circle all around the top, because once you carve out the pumpkin, you can put candles in there to illuminate your shape. And then you can obviously just put the top back on. This is a workout. I would just like everyone to know that I'm not an expert at pumpkin carving. So if this turns out terribly, that's fine. I'm gonna put up my sleeves so I don't get too messy. So you just take out the top, like so, and you can, don't be afraid to get messy. They also gave me gloves, but that's okay. So you can just get off all this extra gooey stuff. Now what you can do if you'd like, once you scoop out everything, you can save the seeds and create all different types of pumpkin seeds. So I've done like salted pumpkin seeds, I've done cinnamon flavored pumpkin seeds. And you just put them in the oven and cook them, and it roasts them, and then they're a delicious snack. Okay, so get all the guts out. And I recently learned that you're not actually supposed to eat the store-bought pumpkins, but there are pumpkins that certain farmers grow, probably at your local farmer's market, that are actually edible. There are different recipes online for that. So things like pumpkin pie, you would want to go to a farmer's market probably to get edible pumpkins to make that puree for the pumpkin pie. Okay. Let's see, that's good enough. Perfect, all right, now I'm still going to use a smaller tool and we're going to carve out this A. Hopefully it will look a lot better than it does. So it's really difficult to do any curves. So if you can do curves, go ahead, but usually you have to do things in a straight line. Okay. This is a lot more difficult. And so like usually I would like to have the inside, you know, the A, but obviously since we're carving, we can't have the stencil inside, so you just have to take that into account whenever you're creating a shape, that you can't have little small sections inside of something unless you keep it attached. Okay, we're making progress here. Really happy my crew put a tarp down before I started this because I am making a mess. Just wipe my hand, getting messy up in here. So I have found that it is easier when you pull up instead of pushing down. So that's a good technique to keep in mind whenever you're carving. I always stray away from the complicated shapes, obviously, because it's a lot harder than you may think. Okay, here's the reveal. Let's hope something nice comes out of it. Is it an A? Oh. Well, I think it looks lovely. It's not an A, but you know, it's a step and it's progress, and I don't think it looks that bad. There's still stuff in here. Anyways, I think it turned out okay, but I hope you stay tuned because up next, my friend Caitlin McClear helps turn me into a mermaid. What Halloween costume is incomplete without makeup? Makeup can be used to turn people into zombies, vampires, and more. My friend Caitlin was gracious enough to come by and give me a mermaid makeover for my Halloween costume. Thank you so much, Caitlin, for coming by today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So you're going to walk us through the mermaid costume.
Yes, and it's super easy. Anybody can do it.
Perfect. What's the first step?
All right. So you're going to need a pair of fishnet stockings or tights.
Okay.
And what I'm going to have you do, Julia, is hold these up against your face like this.
All right. Where can you get something like this?
You can get it at any sort of dance store. You can get it online. Really, a lot of places have them.
Okay, so you hold it pretty tight against your skin.
And mermaid colors are often more blues, greens, purples, stuff like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold that against your face, and then I'm going to take a small-ish brush, and I'm going to dip into this teal green color.
Okay.
And I can just put this right on the high points of your face. And with this one, you're just going to dab. You're not going to brush around because we're trying to keep the tights in place. And this is going to look really cool when you pull it away. It's going to have this really cool scale effect that we want. And these sort of, I'm using eyeshadows for this, but you can use any sort of powders, makeup, cream makeup, anything that you want.
I think I am going to be, well, either a mermaid because of this idea, or a deer.
A deer?
Like Bambi or something cute.
That would be kind of a fun makeup look to do.
Yeah, I saw some things on Pinterest. Pinterest is the best place to go.
Oh, definitely. I think if I find any last minute plans, I'll definitely go to Pinterest. Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm just mixing all these different blues, purples, greens, just dabbing them all on your cheekbones and on your forehead a little bit.
Okay. Are we going to place this anywhere else on the face or just one place?
It can go anywhere that you want. This is the place that I chose to do it though today.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever been a mermaid before?
No, that's why I'm so excited. I never thought of putting stockings on my face.
Yeah, and actually, like, these, you can still wash these and wear them afterwards if you wanted to.
Yeah, there you go. What are some other cool makeup things you have done before on people?
I've done a mermaid look like this before, and I've done, here, do you want to switch it to the other side really quick?
Sure.
So if you pull it away, we've got this really cool sort of scale look to it, and we can just do this same thing on the other side as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I've done actually a lot of different stuff before. I've done mermaid looks before. One time I've done a sort of made somebody into sort of a bird, stuff like that. A lot of people have asked me to do their makeup for Halloween, so this isn't the first time that I've been doing this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I assume you're a student at App State,
Yes,
correct?
I am. Mm-hmm.
What year are you?
I'm a sophomore. I'm a chemistry major as well.
Interesting. What made you want to get into makeup? Does that have anything to do with your major?
Well, I've always really liked makeup, but I just kind of got bored one winter break and picked it up. And it actually is what inspired my major. I'm really interested in the science behind makeup and cosmetics and how that applies to our everyday lives.
How interesting. That's great.
And so now if you want to pull that away too. We've got this beautiful sort of mermaid scale look. You can add lots of different stuff to this. You can put glitter on it, just go crazy. So, and that's the completed look.
I have to see it. Do you have a mirror or something?
I
I
do.
Can do it?
Here you go.
Oh, this is awesome. Cool. That'd be cool if we could like glue some seashells or something
yeah,
on just to
definitely.
make the look.
Yeah,
Wow.
you can do anything you want with it.
That was so simple and so easy.
Exactly.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Caitlin.
Thank you so much.
Coming up next, Professor Jeff Goodman stops by to demonstrate a fun and electrifying Halloween science experiment. Professor Jeff Goodman is back with a science experiment that will excite the mad scientist in you. Jeff teaches in the Wright College of Education building in the Department of Curriculum and Instruction. I'm excited to see what he has in store for us. Jeff, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great as well. Thank you.
Ready for Halloween, right?
Yes, yes. So I hear you're very passionate about science and experiments, and you brought something for us today, correct?
Well, the thing is, like, Halloween is perfect, but actually any day is perfect for science, but Halloween especially. Think about it. You've got the science of pumpkins, and you have the nighttime, the idea of the darkness, and then the moon's going to be coming up, right? It's going to be a big full moon. Well, what I'm going to show you now has to do with the core idea behind life itself.
Haunting.
Seriously. Okay. So what I want to do to get started here is to just show you this. I've got
You have a
skeleton
friend
here, yeah, and is in a lot of trouble from his trip over here.
Yeah.
What makes him not alive? How do you know that this guy's not alive?
Because he's just bones, and that's the definition of death.
Yeah. Well, and he's not, or she. I don't know for sure. I have to check the pelvis. But the this skeleton is not animate. And to animate something is to make it come alive, right?
Right.
Well, one of the things that makes us animate is that we have a nervous system, and our nervous system functions on electricity. I want you to take a look at this. I'm gonna show you first of all. This is a little Tesla coil. Okay. Handheld. It's actually called an Uden coil, but it's like a Tesla coil. And it will produce a very, very high frequency, high voltage current that, in this case, is going to illuminate this bulb. And go ahead and turn the lights down a little bit, and you'll all be able to see those. Okay, see that. Well, so what I'm doing here is I'm sending electrons through the air. You see the lightning there? That's a little bit like the electricity that flows through our nervous system. Our nervous system is an electrochemical impulse, but this is kind of similar. Now, in a lot of the old movies, you would have seen, they animate Frankenstein, right? By getting his nervous system set up by giving him a spark, right? So, right?
Wow.
Now, of course, we don't have anything to animate here because we don't have any organs, or and I don't think anybody at this point has really been able to animate inanimate life, although they do think that that is how the first biological molecules formed when there was lightning through the atmosphere at the beginning of our time on Earth, the time of life on Earth, early in the Earth's evolution. Okay, so we've got the sparker, right?
Right.
Makes a spark.
Okay.
Called an Uden coil. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to take a look at my Frankenstein model. Okay. Okay. So here's Frankenstein.
Yes.
And of course, we're going to need to put more inside him. He can't be empty like our skeleton. We're gonna give him, and we're going to go ahead and give him some Everclear, some alcohol.
All right.
Now, alcohol. When I teach this to my students and to young kids, I always talk about this. This is yeast pee. For real.
Interesting.
Look what's on there. What?
It's a corn.
Corn, right? So yeast eat corn, and then they pee out alcohol. Anytime you see somebody, drinking a beer, or you're drinking bourbon or whatever, it's yeast pee. Yeah, it's a good thing to know, right?
Perfect. So this is
essentially yeast pee or alcohol.
Great,
okay.
great.
And I'm going to put some inside my Frankenstein
Is
model
this his
here.
body here?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna get him going here, and this is gonna get capped off with his head.
Okay.
Okay, like so. Now, before I do this, we got to do some safety stuff, okay? So if you'll get that heavy plexiglass shield there, and I'm going to go ahead and get this stool. You're going to put that, the stool came off the top here, but.
Wow, this is very heavy duty.
Yeah, yeah. Our high neighbor stool is in need of some repair. There we go, okay. So we're getting him set up like so, and we ought to get some goggles on. Here's some for you.
Thank you, sir.
And I usually do this experiment with some extra safety because I'm going to be closer. Okay, get my goggles on here. Okay, I got to get it down, don't I? Okay, you help me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right, so now we're all set. Okay, so now remember, I have some yeast pee in here.
Right.
The energy originally came from the sun to the corn, remember?
Right.
So sun to corn, corn to yeast, yeast to yeast pea. We've got energy stored in here. We just need to animate it by passing a spark.
Do I need to stand further back?
No, you're fine. You're fine. We're going to pass a spark through this system. It's going to go from bolt to bolt inside.
Oh, gosh.
Now, okay, I'm safe. I think I'll take off my monster mask. Now, you okay? All right.
All right.
Now, let's talk about what just happened.
Yes, let's talk.
Okay. So I'm going to take the stool down just for a moment, okay?
Okay, perfect.
And go ahead and why don't you take that out of the way.
Wow. I'm really happy we had the safety precautions.
Yeah. Now, what did you notice?
I noticed a lot of blue flame and an explosion.
Okay, so blue flame, explosion, sound energy, light energy, heat energy. You can even see that sometimes it melts the top of this a little bit, right?
Yes.
I have my fire extinguisher over there if we have any trouble. So now, where'd that energy come from?
The electricity.
Well, the electricity got it released, but where did it start? I'll give you a hint.
Yeast pea.
Ah, very good. And where'd the yeast get the energy from?
The corn.
And where'd the corn get the energy from?
The sun.
The sun. So it's sun to corn, and corn to yeast pea, and yeast pea into my Frankenstein model. This is actually the model not of Frankenstein. When I do this on any day other than Halloween, I say this is the model of something that you have used probably today, and you've definitely seen it used. What do you think? Let's see. Something in the modern world that operates on this principle. It involves explosions, and you've seen thousands of these explosions already today.
Already today?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Exactly. See, now this is what's amazing about science. It's around us all the time, but we don't know to look for it. So you've actually seen thousands of explosions that this is modeling.
Really?
Yep. And let's think it through. A spark. Where's a spark? Where might you have seen alcohol? Have you ever gone to the gas station and you go and it says 10% ethanol or may contain alcohol, right?
Yeah.
So may contain 10% ethanol. That's yeast pea. Actually, I want to get stickers to put on all the gas pumps that say, it may contain 10% yeast pea, right? So this is a kind of energy source, just like gasoline or a mixture of gasoline and alcohol, which is what you put in your car. So what part of your car might this represent? Well, where's there a spark in your car?
In your engine.
Yeah,
right?
spark plug.
Plug.
This is a spark plug.
Ooh.
This is the equivalent of a piston, and it's connected to a crankshaft, and that's what turns the engine. It happens thousands of times a minute inside the engine of your car. That's what runs your car. This is what we just showed.
How
Okay.
exciting.
Now, a lot of people want me to do this again, and let's just go ahead and put our goggles on just for a second. I'm not going to use the other apparatus, and you'll see why.
Okay.
Okay. So people often say, "Hey, do it again, and I try it again, and it doesn't work.
It isn't.
Why wouldn't it work the second time? Well, let's look. Is there still yeast pea in there? Sure.
Yes.
There's still plenty in there, right? There's still plenty of alcohol in there. What else do you need for an explosion? You need energy source like gasoline or alcohol, and you need the spark to get it started. But you also need, take a deep breath. What'd you just breathe in? What gas do you need? Oxygen. You need oxygen to burn your food, or in this case, for this to burn the yeast pea, it needs oxygen, and I've burned all the oxygen in there. So unless I have an air intake, which is what your car has, I won't have any oxygen in there. Right now, I could kind of blow it out and eventually get enough oxygen in there to make it work, but it won't work a second time until there's enough oxygen. And that's why you need to keep a clean air filter in your car to get good oxygen into your engine.
How exciting. Wow. I didn't know such a simple experiment could have so many aspects to it.
Yeah, and if we're talking about climate change, you have to understand something like this to be able to debate issues of the carbon that's inside gasoline. You have to understand things. Science, at its core, is our connection to the physical world and our connection to one another and our world, and we need to be passionate about it, I think. If we're
I can tell you are.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jeff, for coming on the show today. It was such a pleasure, and I'm glad we are both unharmed.
Yep.
For sure.
All right.
I had a great time participating in some time-honored Halloween traditions. From pumpkin carving to science, I've seen that Halloween is not just all about candy and costumes. I hope you had a wicked good time following along. And if you want to see more Hi Neighbor content and extras, check out our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at AppTV. I'm Juliet DiOrienzo, and until next time, bye neighbors!